President Donald Trump welcomed Syrian President Ahmad Al-Sharaa to the White House, integrating the formerly isolated nation into a US-led global coalition aimed at combating the Islamic State group. Al-Sharaa made his way to the White House around noon for an Oval Office discussion that was not open to the media. Instead of the typical West Wing driveway used for foreign dignitaries, the Syrian leader entered through West Executive Avenue, which is adjacent to the main building. Approximately 2 hours later, he departed the White House and took a moment to acknowledge a crowd of supporters waiting outside before entering his motorcade. However, could the decision to keep the meeting private from the press imply that Trump is concealing something? Here's all you need to know. Al-Sharaa's visit marks a historic occasion, being the first time a Syrian head of state has set foot in the White House since Syria achieved independence from French rule in 1946. This visit follows the recent lifting of US sanctions that had been in place during the long-standing Assad family regime. Having led the insurgent forces that successfully ousted President Bashar Assad last December, Al-Sharaa was appointed as the interim leader of Syria in January. Trump and Al-Sharaa, who previously had connections to Al-Qaeda and was the target of a $10 million bounty from the US, first encountered each other in May in Saudi Arabia. During their initial meeting, the US president characterized Al-Sharaa as a young and appealing individual. This marked the inaugural official meeting between the United States and Syria since the year 2000, when former President Bill Clinton held discussions with Hafez Assad, Bashar Assad's father. Prior to Al-Sharaa's visit to the United States, the United Nations Security Council made the decision to remove sanctions against the Syrian president and several other officials. US Ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz, described this action as a significant indication that Syria is entering a new chapter following the downfall of Assad. Reports indicate that during Al-Sharaa's visit, Syria officially announced its intention to join the international coalition combating the Islamic State group, thereby becoming the coalition's 90th member. Additionally, the United States will permit Syria to restart activities at its embassy in Washington, facilitating improved coordination between the two nations on matters of counterterrorism, security, and economic cooperation. According to Syria's foreign ministry, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio convened with Syrian Foreign Minister Asad al-Shibani and Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, who had arrived in Washington. During their discussions, they reached a consensus to move forward with the execution of a March agreement that established a plan for integrating the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces into the newly formed Syrian army. However, efforts to implement this deal have faced numerous delays due to ongoing tensions between the involved parties. Al-Sharaa arrived at the meeting with specific goals in mind. His primary objective is to secure a permanent elimination of the sanctions that were imposed on Syria due to numerous claims of human rights violations committed by Assad's administration and its security forces. Although President Trump has temporarily lifted the Caesar Act sanctions, achieving a lasting repeal would necessitate action from Congress.